Well, hey guys, welcome to the show. Today we're talking about batteries. We're going to do a battery comparison with a lithium, an AGM and a calcium battery. We're going to talk pros and cons, stick around and see what it's all about. Is that out of my truck?
Oh, put it back.
Alright guys, well thanks for joining us today. Hopefully there's something in this for you if you're looking into batteries for your four-wheel drive setup or caravan or whatever it is. So today, obviously Matt's been in the battery industry for what, 10 years? So
10 years, yeah.
Extensive knowledge of batteries and how they work and pros and cons and ins and outs and prices and things like that. So today we're going to be covering things like where each style is going to be used. So obviously we've got the AGM, the lithium and the calcium battery, and we're going to be talking about where they're best used. We're going to weigh them and see the different weights of all of them, the costings,
warranties, cycle life,
all the important stuff that you want to know about batteries and what's the best setup. So this video is timestamped, so if you need to skip ahead to a particular battery that you're looking for, just check out the timestamps and you'll be able to find it. Alright, here we go. So, and look, we do want to specify, we are not sponsored by anyone, we're not promoting any particular brand here. This is just technical information about this type of battery, not the brand.
Alright, so first cab off the rank is the old faithful, the calcium battery. So calcium batteries have been around since the 60s. They're different to standard lead acid batteries. They use calcium paste on the plates, which helps the chemical reactions. They're thicker plates than standard car batteries, which helps with that D-cycle application. They also can be used as cranking batteries as well. So these are best suited for under bonnet, boats, stuff like that, where you want to use it as a cranking battery as well as deep cycle.
So these don't mind the heat under the bonnet? Like that?
No, fine for heat. They're good. They can take a good amount of charge as well.
Yeah.
It is recommended to give them a charge with a calcium charger occasionally. Calcium batteries have a higher charge voltage than normal lead acid batteries, so it's good to give them a hit every now and then with that.
So I've just noticed, obviously you've got the cells, you can unscrew the thing. Does that mean you can top this up like an old like lead acid battery?
Yep, so part of the charging, sometimes if you're charging them on the calcium cycle, they can get a bit hot. You know, they could vent. They don't normally vent, but you know, you can get water escape. So it's good to check them every now and then, make sure they're all topped up. These are technically maintenance free. They do have a minimal maintenance requirements, like anything. You want to just check over it every now and then.
Yeah, sure. These
are also really good for vibration resistance. So again, helps with the, you know, in the boat or in a full drive, it's good for that. Compatible with alternators, compatible with start batteries. So in a under bonnet dual battery system, the batteries are linked in parallel with each other via an isolator. So it's good to have batteries that are similarly spec'd. So there's no equalization issues between the two sides. And also these are relatively cheap. This one here you could get for a couple $100.
Yeah, okay. So a pretty good entry battery if you were getting started and you wanted a dual battery setup.
Yeah,
this would be a great little starter.
Yeah, great to get started. Good for running accessories in your vehicle. If you do a lot of driving, you've got that alternator charge all the time. Yeah, run a fridge off them.
Could you run a winch and things like that off there?
Yeah, you could. Yep, absolutely. As long as your cables are sized appropriately. Light bars, stuff like that.
Yeah, sure.
Even camp lights, if you want to run your camp lights, or dedicated accessory sockets, stuff like that. So that's all fine. So there are some downsides with these batteries. They don't have a very good cycle life. So if you do use them in a cycling application, they're not going to last as long. So cycle life is roughly around 400 cycles at 50% depth of discharge. So not a great deal. So if you're draining it right down once a week or every couple of days, then it's not going to last.
It's going to
shorten
that life.
Yeah. Warranties on these. This one in particular is 18 months. So you're going to get variation between manufacturers. I've seen some for a couple of years, others 12-month warranty.
Yeah.
So shop around, have a look, shop on, have a look for good prices, stick with reputable brands. Obviously, this calcium battery is rated at 105 ampere hours and it weighs 22 kilos. So, geez, not too...
Got a bit of weight to it.
Yeah. So 3 pros, Gaz.
Yep.
We've got number 1, these are excellent price.
Yeah.
You can get them for a couple $100.
Yeah.
Number 2, excellent under bonnet. They've got high temperature resistance. They got high current charging and discharging.
And that's also great if you don't have a lot of other room in the car and you've got a space under
Absolutely.
your bonnet, so that's perfect.
Yeah, absolutely. Most accessory manufacturers have made plates to stick in the most...
In your engine bay, so yeah, that's good.
Squirrel them away somewhere.
Yeah.
Number 3, can be used as a cranking battery as well. So they're not rated as high as equivalent size cranker, but you can. They are rated for
So
cranking.
if you're stuck out in the bush and your other battery failed, you would have this as a backup.
Absolutely.
Perfect.
You could literally run jumper cables from one side to the other if you had to.
I have done that before. Please, don't sneak up on people. Hey, I really hope you are enjoying this episode though. And look, Matt and I really do appreciate it if you hit a thumbs up for us. Help spread it to other people so they can see it too. I've got to find my spanners. Did they go all the way through?
All right, second battery, we have the classic AGM. So what does AGM stand for, you ask?
I do ask, what does it stand for?
AGM stands for absorbed glass mat or absorbed glass material.
There you go.
So what that is it's literally fiberglass matting sandwiched in between the plates.
Yep.
And the idea is that these are soaked with the electrolyte.
Yep.
And they have constant contact with the plates. So it means that they're non-spillable, no maintenance, non-venting, except under extreme circumstances, and you can actually tilt them.
Yeah, okay.
So if you can't fit it up this way, you can tilt it on the side if you need to. Generally speaking, you don't mount on the ends because the plates will sandwich down over time.
Yeah.
So this one here is 120 ampere hour.
Yep.
It weighs in at 32 kilograms, so we've got an extra 10 kg on the calcium.
A bit of weight to it.
Cycle life is bumped up to around 1,000 cycles at 50% depth of discharge.
Oh, yep.
So taking it down to 50, and 400 cycles, taking it down to 90%.
Yeah, okay.
AGMs, just the way they are, they don't like a high charge current or a high discharge current.
Sure.
So that's a little bit of a limiting factor. They're solid batteries. They've been around for a long time as well. They'll just chug along doing their thing. Being maintenance free and non-venting, they're okay to be put inside the cab. They've been used in caravans for years safely. If they do vent, they'll vent hydrogen. So it's always good to have ventilation around the battery so that hydrogen doesn't accumulate, because hydrogen, we all know, goes bang. Warranties for AGMs are anywhere from 12 months. I've seen some at 3 years, some at 5 years. So just check depending on the manufacturer. Try and stick with a reputable company. After sales service can be an issue sometimes with the cheaper companies. Costs could be anywhere from, I've seen them down low 200s. So probably around 250 up to 450 if you're looking at like a full River brand or a Lifeline or something like that.
So with your warranty, like with a better brand and warranty and costing and stuff, I guess it's just a matter of weighing up, what type of brand you're gonna buy as to whether that, you've got that back up there.
Yeah, and if you do read reviews, read them with a grain of salt as well.
Yeah, sure.
Sometimes people can get a bit emotional in their reviews, or they don't quite convey what they're actually thinking about.
Yeah.
Stick with the brands that have been around for a long time.
Yeah.
If you go down the AGM, these are really good also for people starting out. They're a better deep cycle than the calcium. They do cost a bit more, slightly longer warranties.
Yeah.
So weigh it up if you're just getting into it, and nothing wrong with the humble old AGM. All right. 3 pros. Number 1, no liquid. So even though that the glass mats are wet, there's no free flowing liquid anywhere. So no spilling, no venting, maintenance free.
You don't have to top them up.
Yep, no caps you have to undo and top up, and water levels and stuff like that. Number 2, good cycle life. So roughly about 3 times the cycle life of the calcium. And number 3, these have a low self-discharge. So if you're using it as a lift-in, lift-out battery, you don't have to worry about keeping it on charge all the time. They will self-discharge it at roughly around 3% per month. So every couple of months, give it a top up. They do like a smart charger, slightly less voltage than a standard sealed lead acid battery. 3 cons. Number 1, not good with heat. These don't like the heat, not recommended for under bonnet. You can get AGMs that are for under bonnet, mostly in like the start-stop batteries, but generally you wouldn't use those for deep cycle applications. So general rule, AGM, no heat.
So straight away that rules out some of the places that, half of the places that you might mount that. You've got to put it in the back somewhere.
So be wary of the heat. Number 2, low charge and discharge rates. The AGMs, they don't like to be charged too fast or discharged too fast. So if you don't know what it is, you can get the specs off the manufacturer's data sheets. If you don't know what it is, rule of thumb is 20% of rated capacity as your charge rate and 30% as the discharge rate. So this being a 120, charge rate would be 24 amps, so 25 amp charger, 36 amps discharge. So keep that in mind when you're running things like inverters, stuff like that. And part of that too is also the best ways to charge these in the vehicles is with the DC to DC charger, and one that's suited for the size of the battery that you got. And number 3, weight. These are heavy as 32 kilos. Oh yeah, it doesn't sound too bad, but when you actually got to lift it up, like that's fair. It's like a medium-sized child in a box this big. So just be wary, mainly of that. Obviously, lifting in and out of your vehicle, you're going to need to do it safely so you don't hurt yourself. Also, what are you putting your battery on? So if you've got drawers and they might be a bit flimsy, the timber on top's a bit thin on some of the drawers that are out there,
bouncing around on a track or down the road or something.
Also on that, bouncing around, make sure it's secured, because the last thing you want to do is run up the back of someone and have a 32 kilo battery come loose and fly through your seat. So
the other thing to think about weight too, obviously when you put a 32 kilo weight in the back of your car, that reduces the load of camp gear and fuel and people that you can put in your car. So obviously, even though your car can carry it, legally you can't keep putting stuff in your car. There is a point when you've reached that max.
Exactly.
So obviously, when you put weight in there, that takes away from.
Same with caravans. A lot of new vans that are manufactured are so close to the limit now. If you need to save 30 kilos, easy, no brainer. You'd have to go lithium. Also, these days people like to do a lot more free camping, a lot more off-grid, so they might end up needing 2 or 3 or 4 batteries, so you can see that the weight's going to end up pretty quick. Lithium batteries, they are the hot topic. Everyone wants one. Everyone's saying you have to have one. Are they as good as what everyone's making out to be?
Tell us, Matt.
Well, they are pretty awesome. So the old lithium battery is not really that old.
No.
They've been used for military applications, stuff like that, for a while now. Phones, stuff like that. They've really become popular in the last couple of years for driving and camping and motorhomes and stuff like that. So probably around the 5-6 years. Up until then, AGM was supreme. So what makes them so good? Three pros. The weight. 10 kilos, a third of the weight of an AGM. Absolutely amazing. You can mount them any direction that you want. Pro number 2, high charge and discharge current. Again, check with the manufacturer because they will vary between manufacturers. This one here has a 100 amp discharge,
Yeah, wow.
50 amp charge. So that's a fair whack of power.
Yeah.
So which is really good for inverters, spotties, stuff like that. Have that big current draw.
Yeah.
Pro number 3, cycle life. This one here is about 4,000 cycles. 4,000 cycles at 90% depth of discharge.
Yeah, wow.
So you can drain these up and down to 90%, and you do that 4,000 times. So that, along with the warranty, the longer warranty, most lithiums will have around a 5-year warranty. So that and the cycle life, you're looking at a battery that's going to hopefully last you at least 10 years.
So you're going to get a lot more life. The cost for this battery compared to how long you're actually going to get out of it, compared to say an AGM, is going to be like massive, isn't it? So,
absolutely. So, well, that brings me to the cons of the lithium batteries. A lot of people gloss over the negatives about the darling lithium battery, but there actually are some cons. So, con number 1 is the price.
Yeah.
They are expensive, and pricing does vary a lot.
Yeah.
So you're looking at, I've seen them for around $500 or $600, which I think is, you got to ask, why is it so cheap? Up to like a couple of grand.
Yeah.
Which is it's a massive rate. You can't tell by cost how good the quality of the battery is going to be. Con number 2, lithium's a bit funny. It needs to be balanced. It doesn't like, all the cells in there don't like to be out of whack.
Yeah.
So you need to have a built-in battery management system, and the quality of the battery management system determines the quality of the battery.
Sure.
So the battery management system is literally a little computer board, PCB, that sits usually on top, and then it's got all these little wires and stuff, plug into all the different cells, balances them up. It also protects the batteries from overcharging, over discharging, over temperature and under temperature, over voltage and under voltage.
Sure.
You can drain these down all the way down to their cutoff voltage. If you do, the battery actually goes to sleep.
Oh, sure.
So there won't be any voltage. It'll be a couple of volts across the terminals. If that happens, they can be recovered, but you do need a charger that will charge from, 0 volts. So some chargers, smart chargers, will do it. Victron equipment will do it. Victron chargers and solar chargers, they'll do it. So that's something to be wary of. Con number 3 is that charging. So lithium batteries are pretty particular. A lot of them are marketed as a drop-in lead replacement, but to do it properly, they do have a specific lithium charging algorithm that they do like. Even though you can run them in your vehicle, to do it properly is with a lithium charger. So temperature rating is -5 to +50.
So probably not in your engine bay.
No, you can get under bonnet lithiums. You can get lithium starters as well. There's some brands that have deep cycle lithiums that are rated for under bonnet. So that's one thing that you need to put on your checklist when you're looking at your battery. Where are you going to put it? Is it under bonnet? Okay, well, it's got to be rated for temperature.
Sure.
You don't want these to catch on fire. This one here is lithium ferrophosphate, LFP. Most batteries like this are LFP. LFP is the safer chemistry.
Sure.
So it doesn't go bang and have a catastrophic runaway. But they will sizzle.
In extreme cases, like obviously in a car fire or something like that, you do need to be very careful with, obviously getting away from those fumes and stuff like that.
So when we use lithium in houses, we have to have special signage. You got to have special instructions of where they are. You got to have specific ventilations. You also have specific strain standards and requirements where you can't install them. So it's pretty involved. So, but other than that, let me pause it right there for a sec. Need to expand a little. So what happens is the lithium battery, when it gets damaged, the LFP battery, the chemical reaction creates a lot of heat. Sometimes LFP batteries will have a liquid within inside the cell or the pouch, and sometimes that liquid is combustible. So what happens is the damaged battery creates a lot of heat, the combustible liquid ignites, and then that fuels a fire. So special care and consideration needs to be taken where you mount your lithium battery. Ideally external of the van or in a steel box or something like that that's not flammable, with ventilation. Because the other thing that happens is the damaged LFP batteries create a lot of vapor, smoke, and it is really bad. It's really bad for you. You do not want to breathe that vapor, that smoke in. It will wreck you. Oh, and the other thing too is con number 4 for lithium batteries is recycling. With lead acid batteries, so your AGMs and your calciums and your gels, about 99% of that battery is recyclable. And in Australia, about 99% of lead acid batteries are getting recycled. Compared to lithium batteries, best case lithium batteries is about 95% recyclable material within that battery. But at the moment in Australia, there's only about 10% of that lithium battery waste actually getting recycled, and the rest is going into landfill, which is not good. It's quite bad. It's quite bad for the environment. I was able to find one company in Australia that is processing the lithium waste in Australia, EnviroStream in Melbourne. I'll put a link in the description below, and I'd asked EnviroStream for a quote to see how much it would cost to recycle a 12 volt 100 amp hour lithium battery. But at time of publication of this video, I haven't been able to get that price yet. But as soon as I do, I'll put it as a pinned comment so that we can know how much that battery is going to cost to recycle. It will be today's prices, and the hope is that as we progress, lithium battery recycling become more and more common. We'll be able to have new technologies where we'll be able to increase the amount of that battery that is recycled, and hopefully the cost of recycling will come down. All right, let's get back to it. These are the future, whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
We're moving towards batteries more and more in day-to-day life. We're looking at cars running off.
Yeah, I was going to say, you've only got to look at the cars that are coming out now. You know, we're heading that way. So.
Yep. So these would be more suited for the higher end applications at this stage, I would feel.
Yeah.
If you're a young dude or young lady out there, you might be working part time. You're not going to have $1,000 to splash on
a single battery.
One battery.
Yeah. Look, if you've got any specific questions in regards to those 3 batteries, leave a comment for us, and we'll get our tech expert here to reply to those. But keep an eye out, because we will be doing some more battery videos and some more 12 volt Techy tech tips coming up soon. Well, there you go, guys. That's 3 of the most common deep cycle batteries that you'll find on the market today. And Matt and I really hope that this information has helped you look for the right battery to suit your budget and your needs. Hey, look, if it's your first time, hit that subscribe button so you can see more of our content like this. And we really appreciate the thumbs up, because it helps spread it to other people so they can see it too. And don't forget that the weeks are really long, but the weekends are short. So chase the weekend.
Seeing as you've done the last 2 batteries, I'll get the lithium for you. Inside cabins.
Should you be talking about them?
Oh, yeah, I guess so. I probably should be talking to you guys. We're just 2 blokes sitting in a shed talking to each other.
Talking about batteries.
Yeah.
It'd be great. And if you're new, give us a subscribe.
Subscribe.